I've been researching Google's helpful content update a ton today because I've never been hit by it. None of my sites have been hit by it, but I know people who have been hit by it, and it really looks, it's not supposed to be, but it looks like a complete manual penalty. It affects the entire site. The traffic goes to near zero. It's really bad. People have lost everything because of the helpful content update. None of my sites have been affected, and I wanted to understand why and what I was doing well because I have really good rankings. For some sites that are super important to me, I have really good rankings, a lot of them. And I wanted to understand what is it that I am doing well that has made me avoid this. Lucrative rankings too. So I've been learning a lot. I've been learning a lot from people that I've spoken with. Lily Ray NYC on X, she puts up amazing content about the HCU, the Google Helpful Content Update. I watched her on several podcasts talking about this. I was looking at the SEO subreddit of Reddit, and as I was doing all this research, I just took a bunch of notes, and that's what I'm going to share on this episode of the show. The Google Helpful Content Update, it came between two updates. So a lot of people, they didn't know at first whether or not they were hit by that or something else, but then it became clear. But if you were hit by it, it really is a sharp decline down. It's very clear. It looks like a manual penalty. I was specifically looking at what gets sites hit by it. What are the things that sites that are hit by it, what are they doing? So it's a lot of affiliate sites or sites that are making money through ads or a combination, ads and affiliate links. It's less e-commerce, less news, and more content sites. It seems that a lot of the sites that are getting hit by it, by the Google Helpful Content Update, they're not really trying to make a brand. They're just trying to make a website to get clicks from Google. And then they're monetizing that traffic with affiliate links and with ads. And they're just like, how can we get as much traffic as possible, as fast as possible? And it doesn't seem that they're really trying to make a brand that could stand on its own, which would also explain why e-commerce sites have been less hit by it. E-commerce sites, they operate across multiple channels. They might actually have an active blog, for example. They might be targeting keywords in different ways. They might not only be going after best of keywords or top 10 keywords. That was another thing. A lot of sites that were hit by it, they're going after variations, very close, similar variations of the same keyword. They're doing it with multiple pages per keyword, and pretty much every page is identical. They're using a lot of automation, tons of AI stuff. It's mediocre to low quality content that's made for search. It doesn't feel like it's written by a human. Doesn't feel like somebody who knows what they're talking about. You might look at a blog and just see article after article, best of so-and-so, top 10, top 3, top 5, those types of keywords. Every article is itself. It's targeting a keyword. The title is clearly one of these like discovery keywords, one of these, I call them middle of funnel keywords. I think best so-and-so, that's actually middle of funnel keywords because someone who's just looking to explore different brands and compare, they're not quite ready to convert just yet. They're still also learning about what they're looking for. Another thing about those pages is because they require so much copy, a lot of them tend to be automated, whereas with bottom of funnel landing pages, you don't need a lot of copy, like you need maybe 415 words. And so a lot of the time, and you want it to be unique to the search intent and to the keyword. That's like a big thing that I talk about is think about the search intent and really make the page unique to the search intent. And so there are things that you can automate. You can automate different sections that maybe show off your credibility, your brand's credibility. You can put in some images that you use across pages. Your template for the pages can be the same, but the copy should be tailored to the exact keywords. Whereas with sites that have been hit by the Google Helpful Content Update, it's, again, I'll say this because this is what Lily Ray talked about, and this is what I heard from other people, mediocre to low quality content, made for search, not made for the searchers. Made for search, not made for the searchers, doesn't feel like it's written by a human, doesn't feel like it's somebody who actually knows what they're talking about, who actually has experience with the subject matter of the content. And the Google Helpful Content, it's really a punitive update applied to your whole site. It is a punishment, and people don't know when it's going to go away. It could take a really long time. If you're watching on YouTube, I I showed at the beginning of this episode an organic search traffic graph from a friend's site. And you see he starts making, he was doing an affiliate site. It was an affiliate play, going after these keywords that I talked about, best of, top 10, top 3, the page titles, they all look the same. The article titles, they all look the same. And you see he's doing well, and then his traffic just spikes down. It's brutal. Something else that he was doing is, I always advocate, because again, I'm making this episode and I was doing this research. I wanted to understand how come I haven't been hit. Something else that he was doing that I don't do is, instead of doing, I like to have very clear information architecture. The way that the information on my websites is structured is very clear. If I have a blog, it's rootdomain.com/blog/article. If I have a bottom of funnel SEO landing page under like uses or services, it's rootdomain.com/services/bottom of funnel SEO landing page. And conventional SEO wisdom is, the closer you are to the root domain, the more priority you give to those articles. And so what this person was doing on the site that was hit was, he didn't have /blog/the article. It was just rootdomain.com/article. There was no blog in between. It's just weird information architecture. It's not clean for users. And when you're putting up dozens of these pages targeting variations of the same keyword, and they're right off the root domain like that, it doesn't look good either. That was something else that I learned, was that these pages look the same. They're just spun up in this quick way, this like automated way, and there's very little care that goes into them. And so the thing is, for many, many, many years, this style of SEO, it worked. It wasn't great for searchers. In fact, when I make SEO videos on Instagram and TikTok, people get mad at me because they think that I'm advocating this type of SEO, because searchers were bothered by it for so long. They felt like they were getting this content from people who didn't know what they were talking about. The pages that they were landing on were stuffed with affiliate links. In many cases, the SEOs who are running these sites were prioritizing what they recommended based on affiliate commission. And so the searchers felt like they weren't having a good experience. But despite that, this style of SEO worked for years. And lots of SEOs were making tons of money off of this. And it was just, you created a website for the sole purpose to get traffic to monetize with ads and affiliate links. And you weren't trying to make a brand. You weren't actually trying to make a durable brand. You weren't trying to make a long-standing brand. You were just making this website, probably buying links. You're making this website just for Google. And what I think the overall, if I was to generalize heavily why my brands haven't been hit by the HCU, it's because I like making real brands that have a website, and those websites are good at SEO. It starts with a brand, and then you have a brand and you make a website, and then you have a website, and of course you want to get organic search traffic. And that's a bit different. Whereas the SEOs who've been hit by the HCU, if you're just generalizing it like this and you're really making it abstract, it's, you have a website that exists for Google for search traffic, and then to make it look real or give it a semblance of trustworthiness, then you have a brand. But the brand comes last. And with a lot of business owners who have not been hit, or myself who have not been hit, it starts with the brand. And then you're thinking about channels that you can utilize. And of course, you're going to have a website, and you're going to want to have that website rank for keywords. In fact, I think Lily Ray even said having a product to sell puts you at an advantage. I think that's pretty important. Having a product to actually sell puts you at an advantage. If you have a product to sell, then you're a brand. Whereas if you're just selling ads and affiliate links, well, then you're just an SEO play. And it's not really about what niche you're in. It's just about the type of website that you have. Are you doing this affiliate SEO ad type site, or are you making whatever niche, or is it a real brand? In fact, when I was doing research, someone said, to quote them, you are building a personal brand. This brand that is doing SEO is an extension of you. So it's a real brand. You're trying to create a real brand, and SEO is a part of that. The last thing that I want to go back to is, a lot of people have said the same thing. I'm going to read a comment that I found about the HCU, the Google Helpful Content Update. The comment says, it focuses more on the quality and relevance of content for users, not just SEO optimization. So if you repeat one keyword over and over again with minimal variations and don't add any real value to the reader, Google may consider the content not helpful. The HCU encourages content to be more natural, informative, and focused on user needs, not just chasing keywords for ranking. Of course, you're going to think about keywords and you're going to think about Google, but when you're actually crafting the content, something that, okay, so when I was at this agency doing SEO for these Fortune 50 companies, just some of the biggest companies in the world, Procter & Gamble was one of my clients. One of the things that everyone around me talked about all the time, and this was something that I loved about that company. This was actually one of my mentors who became head of SEO at Omnicom, the biggest, I think it was at one point, as in like a few years ago, the biggest marketing agency in terms of market cap. It is a publicly traded company, Omnicom, and I think it was the biggest marketing agency in terms of market cap, or the second. And he was head of SEO there. And he is a close friend and mentor of mine. He's on the landing page. He gave me a testimonial on LinkedIn, and he's on the landing page of Compact Keywords. And he especially talked about search intent. All the time he talked about search intent. It was a huge takeaway. Don't just think about the best practices to rank for the keyword. Put the keyword in your page title, H1, meta description, URL at the beginning of the first sentence. That's like the key places that you put your keyword. That's the main places that you put your keyword. But don't just think about that. Think about, what does a searcher who is hitting your page, what does a searcher want to see? Also, something else, another takeaway is, I don't advocate going after very granular variations of the same keyword with different pages. I advocate trying to hit multiple granular variations with the same page. So for example, you might have a keyword that is targeting one group of people, and that group of people also has a plural version. So maybe architect versus architects. Maybe you have like an app that does something. Maybe your app does machine vision. And okay, your keyword is machine vision for architects. And maybe you also want to hit machine vision architect, which is an unnatural, awkward keyword. Machine vision architect is an unnatural, awkward keyword. But you would have that page, machine vision for architects, that's the keyword, and you would call that the page, but you would also make it so it targets the keyword machine vision architect. Something else that a lot of sites that were hit by the HCU, by the helpful content update, that they do is they just go after awkward sounding keywords exactly. So if the keyword is machine vision architect, they just call a page machine vision architect, and they call their H1, their top heading, machine vision architect. And maybe they even use machine vision architect in the copy, and it just reads unnatural, and it is maybe they even bold it, and it is very clearly made for search engines. And Google has gotten very good at recognizing this stuff. Remember, if you're trying to game Google, something that I always say is, if you're trying to game Google, you're going up against some of the smartest, most highly paid engineers in the world. Teams of them. You are going up against teams of them. That is what you are competing with. And even if you get away with it for a year or 2 years or 3 years, as some of these blog owners did, I never see it lasting. I like to try to make durable brands. I talk about this all the time. I saw Jay Penske speak. He created Penske Media Corporation, one of the biggest publishers. It is in the list of the top 16 companies that that dominate Google search. Google search is subject to the Pareto principle like anything else. 20% of companies get 80% of the clicks. And he's one of these 20% factors, like really 16 megacorps. They get all of these clicks. And he is one of them, Jay Penske. And he said, when I saw him speak, he said, I am trying to create generational assets. I'm playing the long game. And that's something that I think about all the time. So those are my notes on what makes sites hit by the HCU, hit by the helpful content update. And the overall takeaway is, try to create a real brand that also does SEO well, and have something to sell. Have like a product to sell. Don't just have your site exist for affiliate or for ads. But if it does exist for affiliate and ads, then actually try to make a real media site that is using multiple channels, and incorporate those channels into your site. If you're putting up videos, put up those videos in your pages. and don't just have these pages that read like they're made for search engines. All right, that's all I got for you on this episode of the show. This episode 498 of my daily digital marketing podcast, 498 episodes in a row. When I say daily, I mean daily. I have not missed a day since starting this podcast 498 days ago. Hope you got some value from this. I got a lot of value researching this, and I hope none of you get hit by Google's helpful content update. Thank you so much for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much for listening. If you are listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, I will talk to you again tomorrow. Bye now.